Okay. So in the last session we were talking about relationships. Today we are going to talk about a few more concepts which will help us build the application or enhance a few functionalities on it. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is a field dependency. Okay. So I'll talk about field dependency. But before I tell you what exactly field dependency is, let me give you a small scenario. So let's go back to the data structure. Okay. So here we are. We have got the data model here. So in the project we have got name, start date, end date, budget. Okay. So let's say I want to track, what kind of project it is, the type of project. All right. So here in the type of project, I have got a few options. Let's say this is a pick list, and in type of project I have got a couple of options, and then there is a subtype as well. Okay. Okay. Yep. So we have got the type and we have got the subtype, right? Type is a pick list, subtype is also a pick list. Okay. Now let's say in type we have got two options, IT project or non-IT project. Let's say there are two types of projects that we do. We do projects related to IT, and then projects which are not related to IT. Then under subtype we have got more options. Okay. So let's say under IT we take up projects for Java, Salesforce, PHP, and for non-IT we take up projects like let's say marketing, consulting, audits. Okay, so these are the subtypes. So first of all, the end user should select a type for the project, and then he should select a subtype for the project. All right. So we need these two fields. So first of all, I'll just create these two fields. Let's create these two fields. Okay. Give me a moment. Let me just log in into Salesforce. Okay. So this is the app that we were building. Now in the project, I'll add those two fields. Okay, in the project object. So we can just go to the setup, create, objects, go to the project object, and here I'm going to add those two fields, type and subtype. All right. type is a pick list, so I'll just go select a pick list for it, click on next. Type IT project non-IT. Okay, click on next. Okay, I need one more field, which is the subtype, right? So let me just go ahead and create that. The other field is also going to be a pick list. Okay, so we talked about few options here. For IT, the projects can be Java, SFDC, PHP. Here it can be, let's say, marketing, consulting. And there's one more that we're thinking. Correct. Okay. Alright, so we have created both the fields. Now let's just go ahead and create a record and see how it is working. Okay, so let us just go and create a record here. We'll go to projects, try to create a new record. Okay, now when you try to create a new record, you have got these two fields as well, right? If you select IT project, you get to see in the subtype, you still get to see all the options. If you select non-IT project, you get to see all the options under subtype. Okay, now this is fine because there are just 6 or 7 options in the subtype. Okay, but imagine had there been multiple options in the type, and then there had been, you know, let's say 50-60 options in subtype, it would have become difficult for the end user to select things from here, right? For that reason, what we need to do, we need to define a field dependency. What is that field dependency? Field dependency is basically the concept of making this field dependent on this. So basically making the subtype dependent on the type, so that when you select a type, you only get to see the list of subtypes which are associated to that particular type, right? Instead of you viewing the full list, I just get to see the types which are, or the subtypes which are associated to that particular type. All right, so that's what we need. So if I select IT project, I should only get to see these 3 options, not all the 6 of them. And if I select non-IT, then I should see these 3 options. Correct? This is called field dependency, basically making one field dependent on the other field. So what do we do there? We just need to go ahead and define the field dependency. Now field dependency also is defined on the object. So you again have to go to the project object. In the object where you define the where you create the custom fields, just there you will find an option called a field dependency. Okay, so there is a button called field dependencies. You click on this and then you click on new, and you have to define the controlling field and dependent field. Which one is the controlling field, type or subtype? Which one is the controlling field, type or subtype? Type is controlling field. So just select the type field here. And which one is the dependent? Obviously subtype. That's it. Click on continue. Okay. Now once you do this, you will get to see this kind of a screen. Here you have the IT project and here you have got the non-IT project. The options which you want to display under IT, you have to select them here. You can press Control and select multiple options. So all these three options I want to show here. And the options that you want to show under non-IT, you have to select them here. Again, as I said, you can press Control and select them. That's it. Okay. So this is the list of subtype that is available under IT project. This is the list of subtype that is available under non-IT projects. Click on include values. Okay, so these values have got included. That's it. So select the values and click on include values. Now if you want to remove some value which you have included by mistake, you can again go ahead and select and exclude it. Okay, that's it. Done. So now these three values are included under IT project. These three values are included under non-IT projects. Let's quickly save this. Now we'll try to create a record and see if it is working now. Right. Do you see this? Now you don't even have the option to select a subtype. Okay, till the time you don't choose a type, it's not going to give you the option to choose a subtype. Depends on type. Okay, so first of all, select the type. Okay, so this is called field dependency, basically making a field dependent on the other field. Okay, now the next field that we're going to talk about is an auto number. Okay, what's an auto number? Auto number is a field which can automatically generate a number. Okay, so sometimes it happens that the data that we are actually tracking in the object is kind of a transaction kind of thing. All right, and in that scenario it becomes a little difficult for us to give it a name every time. So every new record cannot have a name. So for example, if you go here, let's go back to the database. See, we have created the name field for everything. Like for client I have a name. Okay, for contact I have a name. For consultant I have got a name. For project also I have got a name. For assignment, giving a name to assignment every time giving it a new name will be difficult, because assignment ideally will not have any name, right? Like a client, consultant, contact, these people will have name, right? Project also, because they will be not that many in numbers, you can still give it a name. Okay, you can try to form a name of it. But for something like an assignment or a transaction, it is difficult to give it a name every time, because again you would want the name to be unique, so that at a later point of time you don't get confused with multiple assignments with the same name. Correct? So in that case, instead of the name, we can use a custom ID. By default, Salesforce has got an ID field which is created for all the objects. Apart from the fields that you see here, there's one more field that's called an ID field, which is automatically by default there. So if you go to any object like this project object, these are the fields that you created, and then we saw that by there are a few standard fields which get created automatically, the created by, last modified by owner. Apart from all these fields, there is one more field which you don't get to see, which is called an ID field. Okay, that ID field basically contains the unique identifier for that particular record. Every object, all the standard, all the custom objects have got that ID field. Okay, so that's already there. But this auto number field actually allows you to have your have a field which can automatically generate a number and store it as ID or something, number or ID. It can be stored like that. All right, so we will take the example of assignment object. In assignment object, instead of name, we are going to use auto number, right? So if you go to this projects and you try to create an assignment under a project, see, currently I have got assignment name, which is a required field again, right? Now, if it's a required field, I cannot skip this field also. I have to put a value into it, and thinking of a name for every assignment and then putting it becomes difficult for the end user. So to make the life easy for the end user, I'm just going to change it to auto number. So if you change it to an auto number is basically going to populate a number automatically and assign it to you. So it can be something like this. Let's say A001, A002, A003. Okay. So you can define the pattern in which you want the number to be generated, and it will keep on generating a new number for every record. So if you create one record, it is going to assign this number. If you create the second one, it will assign this number. If you create a third one, it is going to assign this number. All right. This pattern is something which you can define. All right. So what you want to show and all that you can define, but it's automatically going to generate the number in this sequence, and it's going to assign that to every new record. So in that is what will happen. You don't have to really think of name of each and individual assignment, right? So anywhere where we have transaction kind of data, this auto number can be really useful. All right. So we by default have the name field, as we discussed earlier. The moment you create an object, it automatically creates a name field, which is a standard field, and the default data type in the name field is text. That's the reason why you can see text here. We'll just change it to an auto number. How will we do that? We are just going to go back to that assignment object, and we are going to change it. All right. So go to create objects, then go to assignment object. Okay, so this is the assignment name field, right? Standard field. This is what I have to change. Click on edit. Data type for this is text. We have to change it auto number. So the standard name field which gets created, for that you just have two data types available. Either it can be a text or it can be an auto number. All right. So I make it an auto number, and if you want to change the label of it, you can change it. Assignment ID you can make it, or assignment number you can make it. Okay. Now, as I said, the pattern is something that you can define. So display format is what you can define, and you also can define the starting number, right? So display format, if you want, okay, you can define this kind of a display format. So basically what will we have in the auto number? There will be a static part, a fixed part of it, and then there will be a section where you want to display the number. Okay, so the fixed part needs to be kept out of these curly brackets. The number section needs to be kept inside the curly brackets. So that is it. Okay, so now you have got this. So the records will be created, and they will have the auto number assignment /001/002. All right. Start number also you can define. So from which number you want to start? I want to start from 1. Sometimes you might want to start from 100 or whatever. Right. So define that. That is it. Now this field is an auto number field. Okay. Just go to the projects. Click on new record. Try to create a new assignment. See, it doesn't even ask you for the assignment name anymore. You can just go ahead and create the record. Okay, so which project, who is working, what is the start date, I just need to define that. I don't even have to worry about the name. I just click on save and we'll see that it has automatically generated an auto number. Right, so that's how it is. That's how it works. All right, now the same way we have got if I create another record, if I just go ahead and create another record, and click on save here, you see assignment 002. All right, so it's assigning the previous number plus 1 to every new record which is getting created. That's it. All right, okay. The next thing that we're going to talk about is a roll-up summary field. Okay, what's a roll-up summary field? Roll-up summary field basically allows you to summarize the child record, some value from the child record, and sum it up on the parent record, right? Okay, if you did not understand that, let's take a small scenario again to understand what exactly it is going to do. Okay, all right. So let's take a scenario. Let's say I want this number of projects. Okay, for each client I want to track what is the total number of projects that I have for each client. Okay, I can manually go and calculate that and then populate the value here, but that's something which is not advisable because that's going to take too much of time and all. So what we'll do, we'll just need to create a roll-up summary field. So roll-up summary field can actually roll up the values from the child records. Okay, it's going to check all the child records and then from there it can actually do a summary for you. All right. Okay, so or let's create one more thing here. I need the total number of projects that I've got from a client, and we also have a budget for the project. So I want to track total budget for the client. Okay, I want to track the total budget for the client also. So if there are 5 projects and the budget for each project is 1,000, then the total budget for the client should be $5,000. All right. These are two places where I can use roll-up summary. Okay, so a roll-up summary field will basically allow you to summarize some values from the child records and display it on the parent record. So this is something which needs to be created on the parent record. All right. So okay, so first of all, let me just make arrangement for this budget field. I'm not very sure if this is there in the project object or not, especially in the one that I've created. So I'll just create this one and then we are gonna do the roll-up summary. So I'll go to setup. Let's go to the project object again. budget field is not there, so let's just create this one. Okay, click on next. Next, save. Okay, so this field is ready, right? Now for every project there's going to be a budget, and what I want the sum of all the projects from one client. I want all the sum of all those projects to display under the client record. All right. Okay, so for that I have to create a roll-up summary field, and this roll-up summary field needs to be created on the parent object. So we'll need to go to the client object and create the roll-up summary field. We go to setup, create objects, and we try to create the roll-up summary field. Click on new. All right. Okay. So here is the option to create a roll-up summary field. The moment I come here, I see that this roll-up summary field is not active. I don't even have the option to create this field. Okay, can you tell me what can be the reason for this? Why I'm not able to create a roll-up summary field? I should be able to create it, right? I should have this option. Why don't I see this option? What is the reason? Or what can be the reason? Okay, so first of all, there are two things which you will have to understand. First of all, this object, client object, should have a relationship, and in the relationship this object should be the parent object. That's one thing which is required. All right, yeah, so it has got a relationship with project, and this is parent in that. So that part is taken care of, I guess. Just to ensure, let's see if we have already created a relationship between client and project. Yes, we have a relationship here. All right, so that part is taken care of. So this is a parent in a relationship. Okay, next thing is there are two types of relationships, right? Lookup and master detail. So for roll-up summary, which one works, lookup or master detail? For roll-up summary, which one works? Only master detail, right? My current relationship is lookup. Okay. If you go to the fields of the project object, you will see that there is a lookup relationship between these two things. So this project client relationship field is going to be on the project object, correct? Because project is the child. Go to this object and try to see it here. Yeah. So there's a lookup relationship from project to client. Okay. That's the reason why we are not able to create a roll-up summary field here. So I need a roll-up summary. What will I need to do? I'll need to convert this lookup into master detail. All right. You are going to convert the lookup relationship into master detail. Okay. This converting lookup into master detail is a matter of a minute. Hardly say it takes 60 seconds for you to convert a lookup into master detail. all right. But before you do that, before you just try to convert that, you have to make sure that you are populating the data properly. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Okay. What do I mean when I say, we have to populate the data properly? Basically, for master detail, there is a condition that all the child records should be associated with the parent record, correct? Child record should have a parent record associated with it, or that relationship field should always be, should always have a value, correct? That is the thing. So now, because I already have a lookup relationship, in lookup that kind of a restriction is not there. So there's a possibility that you will have some records already existing, some project records which are not associated with a client. Okay, that relationship field can be blank in some of the record. There's a possibility. Okay, if there are any such records which do not have a parent associated to them, you cannot convert lookup to master detail. So you have to make arrangement for that part first. Either you go ahead and search, populate a parent value for the records which do not have a parent, and then try to convert it into master detail, or you delete those records which do not have parents. Okay, till the time you have records in that object which have the project records without parent, you cannot convert this lookup relationship to master detail. All right, so first of all, we'll have to make arrangement for that part. Either I have to go and delete the records which do not have parent, or I have to populate some parent value for those records. Okay, and I have to ensure that all the records in that object have got parents associated to them. Then only you will be able to change the relationship from lookup to master detail. Okay, so this is a prerequisite. After that, converting, once you make sure that all the records have got parents, then converting from lookup to master detail is, again, as I said, 60 seconds, or maybe even less than that, right? But this is something which we have to first of all work on. So let me just go ahead and check. Currently I don't have too many records, so I can just go ahead and check whether I have got project records without parent or not. So all in all, I just have got 2 projects. So let me just quickly check project 1, project 2. Okay, for project 2, I have got a client. It is associated with a client, so this is fine. There's no problem with this record. Project 1, now this record is going to cause the trouble because it does not have a parent. All right, so this record cannot be converted to master detail relationship. So as I told you, there are 2 options. Either you delete this record if you feel that no, this record is not required anymore. Either you delete this or populate a parent value for this. Let's give it a parent value. So there's a client. Click on save. Okay, whatever. So now I've populated the value for it. All right. Now I do not have any project records which do not have parents. All the project records have got parents. So now it's okay for me to go ahead and change it to a master detail. Now changing to master detail, as I said, it's going to be simple. So you just have to go back to the data. You can just go back to the object, go to that field, this client field. This is a relationship field. Click on edit. Okay, and then click on change field type. Okay, click on change field type. It's lookup. You will be able to change it to master detail. Select this one and click on next. Okay, you can choose the other settings and finally click on save. Okay, so now because there was no problem with the existing records, all the existing records had parents. As I told you, it's going to be very easy for you to do that, but make sure that you have already taken care of the records without parents. Either delete them or assign them to a certain parent record. Then this lookup to master detail is going to be simple. Otherwise, it's going to throw error and it will not convert the relationship from lookup to master detail. Now it's a master detail relationship, all right, between project and clients. So now if you try to create a project, say, now the C client object which was not required earlier, now it has become a required because it's a master detail relationship. At the same time, that owner field which we could see here, that has disappeared because it's a master detail relationship. Project records will not have any owner. Who's going to be the owner? Owner of uh, the client object or the client record is going to be by default owner of the project records as well. All right. Okay. So that part is done. Now let's go ahead and add the roll-up summary. So we are going to go back to our client object and try to add the roll-up summary here. Create a new field on the client. Now the roll-up summary is active because we have created a master detail relationship. Now we can see this option. Go to next and then call it total budget. Okay. Now here you need to select which object you want to summarize. I want to summarize projects, and then under that you want to do what? Count or sum. I want to do a sum of which field? Budget field. Okay, done. Okay. You also have an option of defining criteria. Do you want to include all the records? When you are trying to summarize the records, the child records, do you want to include all child records in this, or you just want to include a certain child records which meet a certain criteria? So that's something which need to be selected here. All right. So if you just want records where the budget is more than $100 to be included, that's something which you can define here. All right. So you can say that, okay, only include the records where budget is greater than certain amount. Okay. So that thing can be done. I'm not getting into that part right now. And go to next. So the roll-up summary field is ready. I want to create one more roll-up summary for the total number of projects. So let's create one more. I'll call it number of projects. Okay. Which object? Project object. I need a count of it. All right. Number of projects I can easily get from the count. There I don't need to do a sum. Make it visible. Click on next. Save. All right. So this is what we have. And now if you go to the client records, okay, let's go to the client, go to this client PQR, see total number of projects is 2. There are 2 projects in that. Okay, total budget, it shows 0 because we have not populated values for the budget in project 1 and project 2. So let's go ahead and add a value to the budget for these 2 projects. Let's say project 2 is $5,000. Save it. And project 1 is $23,000. Okay, if you go to the client and if you refresh this, see, total budget for the client is 28,000, which is the sum of the budgets of all the projects under it. Total number of projects that you have from the client is 2. Right, so this is what a roll-up summary field does. So this way we can easily create these roll-up summary fields and populate values in the parent record. Clear? Okay, so you can think of a few more roll-up summary fields here in this project management app. We can think of a couple of more. Let's say you want to sum up the number of assignments under a project, you can do that. Okay, we can do number of assignments here, or max assignment duration is something which you can do. You just want to figure out which is the longest assignment for a particular project. Okay, you can do max assignment duration, that sort of thing. All right, that can be done. You might want to do a number of assignments under consultants also, because assignment is a junction object, right? It's a child of project as well as consultant, so I can include that here as well. Number of assignments. So let's say I want to track how many assignments I have under a project and how many assignments I have under a consultant. So I can do that here as well, right? So all these things can be roll-up summary. You can think of more fields like this. Okay, so apart from these examples, I think you guys should spend some time, think of a few more examples of roll-up summary and try to implement that. Okay, so don't think too much about the logic and all. Wherever you feel that, okay fine, here I can create a roll-up summary, just go ahead and create it. This is basically going to help you learn. Okay, later on you guys can decide on whether I should put it here or not. Is it required or not required? Here, if you find an option or a scope to create a roll-up summary or an auto number or the field dependency or any other thing, a lookup or a master detail, just go ahead and do that. Now it's important for you to create those things and understand how they are actually created, right? At a later point of time you can decide and you can remove some of those things. Okay, so let's say if you feel that this roll-up summary was not required, so just go ahead and remove it at a later point of time, right? So that's something which would work. All right, okay, so that's what we are going to discuss today. Now you guys can let me know if anyone has a question or doubt anywhere. Just enable the raise hand option. Give me a moment. Okay, yeah. So formula is something which we all know. Some of you might have worked on formulas in Microsoft Excel. How many of you have worked on Microsoft Excel formulas? People who have worked on Microsoft Excel formulas, please say a yes. How many of you are aware of Microsoft Excel formulas and functions? Okay, quite a few of you. Good, nice. Okay, all right. So in Excel, we have seen, right? If there are two columns and then we put a formula in a third column, it can actually take reference from those two columns and do some sort of calculation. So formula is basically just a field here also in Salesforce. It's a field type which allows you to do some sort of calculations. Okay, it allows you to execute some logic and calculate some value and return the result, right? So let's say I have got a small requirement here. Okay, let's say we have got one more field here. I told you later on we'll need to extend these objects. We'll need to add more fields. We are adding quite a few of them. Okay, Let's say for a project I have got an hourly rate. Okay, hourly rate is basically how much we are going to pay per hour for that particular project. All right, and in assignment I have got the duration of the project, which is in number of hours. Okay, so what we can do, and we also need to track total spend for that particular assignment. Okay, so I want to track total spend for that particular assignment. So there is an assignment of 10 hours or 20 hours, and if the hourly rate for the project is $20, then total spend should be 400. Correct? So if the hourly rate for that project is $20 per hour, and if the duration for that project is, let's say, 20 hours, then total spend should be 400. But obviously I'm not going to do this manually every time, right? What I want a formula field which can automatically do this calculation. All right, so this hourly rate can be a number field where I'm going to enter a number, or no, sorry, hourly rate is going to be currency. Rate is going to be currency. Number of hours is going to be a number field, and this total spend can be a formula. What formula? The formula is this should be rate into duration. That's what I need here. Correct? That's what exactly is needed. So let me just go ahead and create this. So first of all, I'll need these two fields, the hourly rate and the duration. All right. So first of all, I need these two fields. So let me just go ahead and create these two fields. So one is going to be on the project object. The other one is going to be on the assignment object. So I'll go to the assignment object definition, create the duration field here. Duration will be a number, right? Okay, so select a number, go to next. Okay, make it visible, go to next, save. Okay, so I've added the duration field here. Okay, then I need to add the hourly rate field in project. So let me just go ahead and do that. So this is going to be a currency field, that's what I told you. So let me just make it currency, go to next. This is hourly rate. Go to next and save it. Okay, so I've got an hourly rate and I've got a duration. Now I need to create a formula field. This formula field needs to be created on the assignment object again. So let me just go back to the assignment object, and on the assignment object I want a formula field which should calculate the total spent for that assignment. Okay, so this time create a new field, and the type for the field should be formula. Okay, now this is going to be a formula field, so just select the type as formula, go to next, and now it's pretty simple. All that I need to do is I just need to write the formula. Just give a name, label and name to the field as you do. Total spend, and okay, what is going to be the output after the calculation? Output is going to be currency. Spend is obviously going to be currency. Do you want decimal places? No, I want 0 decimal places. Go to next. Okay, now this is the area where you have to write your formula. And what's your formula? Your formula is simple: hourly rate into duration. That's it. Okay. Later on you guys can write more complex formulas, but currently we are talking about a very simple one, which is just hourly rate into discount duration, right? Okay, so here once you come here, just click on advanced formula. You don't even have to be worried about what is simple formula. Leave it. Just straight away come to the advanced formula. Okay, now once you click on advanced formula, click on insert field to insert the field that you want to use as a reference. So which field I want to use? I want to use a duration. Select duration field and click on insert, then press enter. Duration into hourly rate, right? But hourly rate is not a field on assignment, it's a field on project, right? So select project here, and then under project you will find hourly rate. Okay, so if you are actually selecting a field from the parent, you have to come to the parent object, and then you will see the list of the fields in the parent object, and you have to select that field. Got it? Insert. That's it. Okay, it's automatically going to insert the value or the name of that particular field. You don't have to worry about that. That's it. So this is what I want to do. My total spend is going to be duration of the assignment multiplied by the hourly rate of the project. Okay, you can quickly click on check syntax. If there is any problem with the syntax, it's going to throw an error here. It doesn't do that. It says no syntax error, which means everything is fine. I'm good to go ahead and save it. Click on next, make it visible, next, and save it. That's it. Okay, so if I have a project here, okay, I got a project here, and let's say the hourly rate for this project is $50, and then I click on save. Okay, now you try to create an assignment. Okay, duration for this project is 30 hours. Click on save. You'll see that a total spend field automatically gets the value of $1,500. Correct? So this is system generated, or automatically calculated by Salesforce. Duration into $1,500. Got it? This is how simple it is. All right. Okay. Fine then. So we'll continue to discuss on this. We'll continue to discuss on how we can enhance application a little further. All right.